The Spanish government said on Thursday it will deploy the army to Ceuta after a massive surge in illegal migrant crossings from Morocco.
Hamas says it has agreed to disarm completely in a deal that would include Israel's withdrawal from the Gaza Strip.
FIFA has vowed to press ahead with a controversial private investment plan despite widespread opposition to the proposal.
Eurozone GDP delivers a better-than-expected performance in the second quarter of 2026, ahead of economics' expectations for a 0.2% increase.
Spain and Morocco have reached an agreement for the urgent return of migrants who crossed the border into the Spanish enclave of Ceuta on Thursday. Thousands of migrants entered Ceuta from Morocco on Thursday swimming or using inflatable devices. Ceuta's president, Juan Jesus Vivas, estimates that the recent average has been around 300 sea arrivals per day and warns that the figure continues to rise. The Spanish Interior Ministry has suggested that human trafficking networks may be taking advantage of a recent court ruling to encourage the arrival of undocumented migrants. The ruling states that people who enter by swimming do not meet the legal requirements for immediate rejection at the border without an individual case being opened. As a result, many of those crossing cannot be immediately returned. Morocco's embassy in Madrid has attributed the mass entry to criminal organizations.
Hamas says it has agreed to a deal announced on Thursday by US President Donald Trump to disarm the group and pave the way for Israeli withdrawal from Gaza and the reconstruction of the enclave. Trump earlier hailed the deal as historic and monumental, noting that the Board of Peace he created in January agreed to it to put to action his 20-point peace plan for Gaza. The deal, according to the US president, will be carefully structured in phases, first beginning with the complete disarmament of Hamas and all other groups, and then moving on to the IDF's retreat. After both those steps are completed, a technocratic government run by former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair will then be appointed to work alongside Palestinian officials to govern the territory and oversee its reconstruction. Trump did not detail a specific timeline in his announcement, but officials familiar with the matter have indicated that they expect the disarmament process to be completed within the coming 2 weeks. They added that Hamas' surrendering of heavy weapons and the decommissioning of its tunnels is a process expected to take between 200 and 350 days. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has repeatedly stated that his country will not withdraw its troops from Gaza until all weapons are turned over and Hamas is dismantled.
World football's governing body FIFA has vowed to press ahead with a controversial private investment plan despite widespread opposition to the proposal. On Thursday, Europe's football union UEFA declared it would boycott future FIFA World Cup competitions if it went ahead with Gianni Infantino's plan. Later, North and Central America's CONCACAF shared that all 41 of its member associations also rejected FIFA's proposal to sell a stake in the business operations of the World Cup. Infantino's project was announced on Tuesday when he wrote to members that if they approved of the proposed FIFA Forward Enterprise commercial subsidiary, 20% owned by private investors, their funding would double to $20 million for the next 4 years. Infantino has proposed FFE would run events such as the World Cup and Club World Cup. The core investor would be a New York investment firm created by Joshua Kushner, the brother of U.S. President Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. While FIFA said it would go ahead with the consultation process for the proposal, it appeared to then back off from the commercial subsidiary, saying without the support of its 211 member associations, FFE would not be established.
Thank you, everybody.
Spain is still on alert due to wildfires near Madrid. Huge areas have turned into ash and tens of thousands of people have been forced to leave their homes.
Suntem în Vila del Prado, la câteva zeci de kilometri distanță de Madrid. Cam așa arată această zonă, copaci pur și simplu mistuiți de flăcări lângă copaci care sunt încă vii. Gardurile vii ale caselor au fost și ele distruse și aș vrea să vă arăt această mașină care a fost prinsă de flăcări și ne putem face o idee doar uitându-ne cam cât de puternic a fost focul și cât de puternică a fost căldura.
The people of Vila del Prado were allowed to return home where they found the disaster after the fire.
Așa arată o bucată din lunetă. Sticla pur și simplu s-a îndoit și și-a schimbat forma, s-a topit. Uite și aici cum arată. Pur și simplu sticlă topită. Atât de mari au fost temperaturile aici.
Some houses in Vila del Prado were consumed by flames, others escaped. In total, at least 77,000 hectares burned in the Madrid region. According to other estimates, it would actually be at least 100,000 hectares.
Asta rămâne după un astfel de incendiu. Suntem la aproximativ 60 de kilometri de centrul Madridului și cât vezi cu ochii când te uiți în valea asta e totul negru, totul făcut scrum. Sunt copaci care au scăpat de flăcări lângă copaci, pur și simplu carbonizați și e pur și simplu impresionantă suprafața care a ars.
The Spanish authorities have also sent an optimistic message. The wind is no longer blowing so hard, which means that the fire is no longer spreading so quickly. The firefighters finally have an advantage. So far, more than 20,000 people have been given permission to return to their homes. The 9,500 from the Madrid area alone are still evacuated. Europe has faced increasingly severe heat waves in the past few weeks, causing wildfires in several countries such as Spain, France and Greece. But further impact has been emerging as key waterways such as the Rhine and the Danube have fallen to exceptionally low levels, in some places breaking records. This could make cargo transport significantly more difficult, potentially forcing vessels to carry smaller loads, causing commercial shipping on parts of these routes to grind almost to halt, or requiring operators to adopt more cumbersome alternatives. Major European industries, including oil refining and chemicals, could therefore face severe disruption. Operators must instead divide cargo between several vessels or shift some freight to road or rail. For the chemical and petrochemical industries, reduced navigable depth restrict deliveries of essential materials such as naphtha or liquefied petroleum gas from North Sea ports to inland factories. Rising water temperatures have also made industrial cooling systems less efficient, further increasing operational pressures. This is especially important for nuclear and thermal power plants. In Hungary, the low water levels have forced the PAX nuclear power plant to reduce output and shut down one of its 4 reactors. Romania had to do the same.
Brussels is racing to build infrastructure to train advanced AI models and catch up with global tech competitors. The European Commission has launched a call for tenders to publicly finance up to 7 AI gigafactories in Europe. These large-scale computing facilities, equipped with highly specialized chips, are designed to train the next generation of AI technologies, notably the most advanced large language models. The move forms part of a broader tech sovereignty push to cut the EU's dependence on foreign suppliers of cloud services and chips. Europe wants to become the first AI continent, the European Commission said Thursday.
All of this to also serve our tech sovereignty agenda, because we want advanced AI to be developed right here at home in Europe and by European companies and European researchers in line with Europe's values and fundamental rights.
Massive data center projects are already well underway in the US and China. In response, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announced a plan to build AI gigafactories in Europe at the AI Action Summit in Paris last year. 10 EU countries have expressed interest in hosting a gigafactory, yet critics warn that while gigafactories aim to build sovereign European infrastructure, the EU remains heavily reliant on foreign suppliers for specialized AI chips.
The Eurozone delivered a better-than-expected performance in the second quarter of 2026, with the GDP expanding by 0.4% quarter-on-quarter, up from flat growth in the first quarter and ahead of economists' expectations for a 0.2% increase. Across the EU, growth accelerated to 0.5% from 0.1% previously. Annual growth also strengthened, reaching 1.0% in the euro area and 1.2% across the EU. According to Pantheon macroeconomics calculations, the rebound in Ireland alone added 0.1 percentage points to headline Eurozone growth. It was followed by Lithuania, where the economy grew by 1.7%, and Sweden, which expanded by 1.4%. Europe's largest economies, Germany, France, and Italy, all expanded, but at a slower pace than previously. However, Belgium and Austria stagnated, recording no growth during the quarter. Economists say although the figures suggest the bloc is proving more resilient than feared, despite higher energy prices and continued geopolitical uncertainty, recent preliminary July data show pressures are ticking back up in major economies due to renewed energy shocks.